The Punisher, released in 1989, is a film that deserves a second look. It's a dark and gritty take on the Marvel comic book character. Dolph Lundgren stars as Frank Castle, a man who becomes a one-man army after his family is murdered. The film had a troubled release. It went straight to video in the United States. Despite this, it found an audience. Over time, it has become a cult classic. The film is a product of its time. The late 80s saw a wave of action films. Many of these films featured muscle-bound heroes. They often took on criminals with extreme prejudice. The Punisher fits right in with these films. However, it also has a darkness that sets it apart. This is a film that doesn't shy away from the brutality of its protagonist. The Punisher is not a perfect film. It has its flaws. However, it's a film that deserves to be seen. It's a brutal, uncompromising take on the character. It's a film that has aged surprisingly well. It's a film that helped to pave the way for the wave of comic book movies that we see today. Dolph Lundgren is perfectly cast as Frank Castle. He has the physicality and the intensity to bring the character to life. Lundgren is best known for his roles in action films. He often plays the villain. However, he brings a certain humanity to the role of Frank Castle. This is a man who is driven by revenge, but he is also a man who is haunted by his past. Lundgren's performance is one of the things that makes this film so compelling. This is a Punisher who is a broken man. He is a man who is struggling with his demons. He's a far cry from the more heroic figure that we see in some of the later adaptations. Lundgren's Punisher is a man of few words. He is a man of action. He is a force of nature. This is a Punisher who is not afraid to kill. He's a Punisher who is willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. The film follows Frank Castle. He is a former cop. His family is murdered by the mob. Castle vows revenge. He becomes the Punisher. He wages a one-man war on crime. The film is set in a dark and gritty urban environment. This is a world where the criminals are everywhere. The cops are outmatched. It is up to the Punisher to clean up the streets. The film is directed by Mark Goldblatt. He is a veteran film editor. This was his directorial debut. Goldblatt brings a gritty realism to the film. The action sequences are well choreographed and brutal. They have a visceral impact. The film is not afraid to show the consequences of violence. The film is not without its flaws. The pacing is uneven at times. The dialogue is often clunky. However, the film's strengths more than make up for its weaknesses. It's a stylish and action-packed thriller. It features a career-defining performance from Dolph Lundgren. The Punisher was not a box office success. It was released straight to video in the United States. However, it found an audience on home video. It has since become a cult classic. The film has been praised for its dark tone, its brutal action, and Lundgren's performance. The Punisher has been adapted several times over the years. There have been other films. There have been television shows. There have even been video games. However, the 1989 film remains a fan favorite. It is a dark and gritty take on the character that has stood the test of time. The film's legacy is complex. It is a product of its time. It reflects the excesses of the 1980s action genre. However, it is also a film that has something to say. It is a film about revenge. It is a film about justice. It is a film about what happens when a man is pushed too far.